The United States builds the heaviest, most expensive tanks on Earth. But when those tanks started getting destroyed in urban combat, the US Army had to buy an invisible shield from Israel. China built the Great Wall to keep enemies out. It took centuries. Israel built a wall completely underground, wired with fiber optics, and stopped a subterranean war in its tracks. Russia builds the most terrifying anti-aircraft missiles on the planet. Israel built a missile that leaves the Earth's atmosphere entirely and destroys nuclear threats in the vacuum of space. Welcome back to Grand Structures. The scoreboard is back on. We've looked at water, we've looked at food. Today, we are putting the biggest superpowers on the planet up against a country the size of New Jersey, round by round, and the results are going to rewrite everything you know about heavy engineering. Round 1, the United States versus Israel. Tank survival. The United States military has a budget of over $800 billion. They build the M1 Abrams, a 70-ton depleted uranium-armored beast. It is the undisputed king of brute force heavy armor. Israel builds the Merkava tank, but Israel realized something the Americans didn't. Armor is dead. You cannot build a steel wall thick enough to stop a modern laser-guided missile. So Israeli engineers stopped building walls and started building math. They invented the Trophy Active Protection System, a radar dome that calculates the exact trajectory of an incoming missile in milliseconds and fires a hyper-precise shotgun blast to vaporize the threat before it ever touches the metal. In 2014, dozens of rockets were fired at Israeli tanks in urban combat. 0 penetrated. The result? The United States, the greatest military-industrial complex on Earth, swallowed its pride, bought the Israeli trophy system, and bolted it onto the American Abrams. Brains beat steel. Point, Israel. Round 2, Russia versus Israel, the Sky Shield. Russia is the undisputed king of surface-to-air missile range. Their S-400 system is feared globally. It is designed to shoot down fighter jets hundreds of miles away. It is an offensive umbrella. Israel doesn't just need to shoot down jets. They have to shoot down ballistic missiles dropping from the stratosphere at thousands of miles an hour. So Israel Aerospace Industries partnered with Boeing and built Arrow 3. Arrow 3 doesn't intercept missiles in the sky, it intercepts them in space. It is an exo-atmospheric hypersonic interceptor. In 2023, a ballistic missile was fired from Israel from Yemen. The Arrow 3 system tracked it, launched, exited the Earth's atmosphere, and destroyed the warhead in the silent vacuum of space. It was the first combat interception in space in human history, the ultimate high ground secured by a nation with a fraction of the landmass. Round 3. Europe versus Israel, crisis architecture. European countries build some of the most massive, beautiful hospitals on Earth. Germany's Charité, the UK's NHS mega facilities. They are designed for peace, efficiency, and comfort. Israel builds hospitals for the apocalypse. Because of the constant threat of rocket fire, a glass-windowed hospital is a massive liability. So engineers in Haifa looked at an underground parking garage and did something completely insane. They engineered the Rambam Underground Hospital. During peacetime, it is a functioning multi-level concrete parking garage for 1,500 cars. But at the push of a button, it transforms. Within 72 hours, the cars are cleared and the walls open to reveal oxygen lines, surgical suites, and power grids perfectly hidden inside the concrete. It becomes a fully functioning 2,000-bed hospital entirely encased in blast-proof rock and steel. The greatest crisis architecture on Earth is disguised as a parking lot. Round 4. China versus Israel, the border wall. China's Great Wall is the most famous border structure in human history. 13,000 miles of stone built to stop physical Aries from crossing a line on a map. Israel's problem wasn't above the ground, it was below it. Enemies were digging massive, reinforced concrete tunnels 100 feet under the earth to bypass the border. You cannot build a stone wall to stop a tunnel. So Israel built the Smart Wall. They excavated a massive trench miles long and poured heavily reinforced concrete deep into the earth. But the concrete was just the shell. They packed the wall with millions of dollars of highly classified seismic sensors, fiber optics, and acoustic radar. The wall doesn't just block tunnels, it listens to the earth. It detects the microscopic vibrations of a shovel hitting dirt 100 feet below the surface. The world builds dead walls. Israel builds living ones.
Round 5. Silicon Valley versus Israel, the cyber battlefield. Silicon Valley is the tech capital of the world. With unlimited venture capital, they build apps that change how we shop, how we drive, and how we talk to each other. Israel's tech ecosystem is completely different. It is forged in the military. The IDF's Unit 8200 takes the smartest 18-year-old kids in the country and teaches them how to hack into enemy mainframes, intercept communications, and wage invisible digital wars. When those kids leave the military, they don't build food delivery apps. They build the most aggressive, impenetrable cybersecurity structures on the planet. 1/3 of all global cybersecurity unicorns, companies valued at over $1 billion, come from Israel. The world's banks, infrastructure grids, and tech giants rely on digital fortresses built by engineers who learn to code under the threat of actual missiles. Let's look at the new scoreboard. Tank defense, the US buys from Israel. Space interception, Israel makes history outside the atmosphere. Hospital architecture, Israel turns parking lots into blast-proof trauma centers. Border security, Israel builds walls that can hear. Cyber warfare, Israel guards the global internet. When a superpower builds something, they use money, size, and manpower. They brute force the engineering. But when Israel builds something, they are fighting the clock, the geography, and the odds. They cannot afford to build the biggest, they have to build the smartest. This scoreboard proves that the greatest engineering structures on Earth aren't always born from unlimited budgets. They are born from absolute necessity. When failure means you lose your country, the engineering changes completely. Which round on this superpower scoreboard shocked you the most? Did the space interception win? Or is the transforming hospital the ultimate freak engineering? Drop your answers below. If you want to see exactly how that underground hospital works, click the video right here. Hit subscribe, and I will see you on the next project.